The deadline has passed for pro-Palestinian protesters at Columbia University to leave their encampments. But despite threats of arrest and suspension, many remain in place. Protests were also seen at French universities. Seung-jae has more.
2 p.m. Monday. That was the deadline given to the pro-Palestinian protesters who had set up an encampment at Columbia University in New York to protest against the dire humanitarian crisis in the Middle East and call for the university's divestment from companies with links to the Israeli occupation of Gaza. Despite threats of suspension, 80 tents and dozens of protesters remained in the encampment just after the 2 p.m. deadline. The school says only the students who remain in the encampment after the deadline would face immediate suspension and not the hundreds of other students who have encircled the camp to protect the protesters while showing their support. The Columbia protests have inspired similar pro-Palestinian demonstrations on campuses across the country, which have led to hundreds of arrests. 6 protesters were arrested at the University of Texas at Austin on Monday, with dozens of police officers and state troopers at the scene. Around 100 protesters were arrested at Boston's Northeastern University over the weekend after police in riot gear cleared an encampment at the school. Protesters at Yale University were seen setting up a new encampment Sunday afternoon after police arrested nearly 50 protesters and cleared a camp. While protesters were warned of suspension and possible arrest, no deadline to leave the encampment was set. Similar protests were also seen at universities in France, including at Sorbonne University in Paris on Monday, where police moved in on dozens of protesters who had camped out in a courtyard in the university to demand an end to Israel's bombardment of Gaza. It follows another massive protest that broke out at the Sciences Po University in Paris last week. According to an official on Monday, funding for Sciences Po would be suspended until calm and security have been restored. Seung-jae, Arirang News.